A very good evening to our viewers. Thank you for joining us tonight on the evening review. My name is Toivo Njebela. Tonight on the platform, we are joined by David Nekaro. He is chairperson of a group of unemployed Namibian teachers who have been battling to secure jobs for so long, and they have a planned series of activities that he will explain in a minute. Thank you very much, David, for making time. Maybe give us a picture, paint us a picture of what the situation looks like regarding people like yourself.
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Toivo. Before we look at the picture, I think it's important that we need to highlight where the situation is coming from.
Yeah.
From early 2000s, there was no crisis of teachers sitting at home or being in the street. So that time, whenever you are done, you are just deployed straight to work, because there was sufficient teaching posts by then. And somewhere from 2012, 2013, then the crisis of shortage of teachers became a problem. There were few teachers for the market to absorb. And now the Ministry of Education, Arts and Culture entered in agreement with Institution of Higher Learning to train more teachers. And in this way, they started producing teachers in 3 categories. The first category was inset program. That was meant mainly for lower primary teachers. They take grade 12 failures, who were temporary teachers by then, and then give them a contract with the institutions for 3 years, which is a diploma. And then the other program was mature age entry. This one was going both now to lower, upper. This one was meant for elders who could not get opportunities by then to study, mainly from 25 years above, and at least you need to have some experience. So this is how now they were producing them. And the last one is the regular or normal procedure of coming from grade 12 and then straight to the institution. Now, the issue is that the ministry did not have an exact duration and mechanism on how they can handle the situation. As a result, both the 3 rows of producing teachers became active. And then the market started getting saturated. There are more teachers. So by the time the ministry realized this, and then they moved to stop it or halt it, the institutions now started duplicating the same program. And as we speak, even mature age entry is ongoing now. So this now have ended more teachers in the street, while there are few teaching posts. So now to get to your question, the situation is very dire, and it's uncontrollable now, because most of the institutions are producing teachers because they see it as a way for business. And this is the course which is taken by the majority, especially in institutions at rural areas, because this is the only available one. Apart from that, maybe you get nursing. The rest of the courses, you get them in Windhoek, which is very troubling for someone to come and study in Windhoek. So people are just doing education for the sake of being at an institution. And then this is a party now to the Institution of High Learning, because they are getting money. So very recently, IOM was boosting about the 21% increment in terms of admission. So to them, is quite a very good thing, because they are going to earn a lot. But what is happening now in the long run to the economy of the country? So to us, as young people, especially those of us who did education, we do not have a solution now, but just to stand up ourselves.
Yeah. You have a demonstration lined up for the 26th of March.
Yeah.
What kind of message do you want to convey on that day? Because if you say that, because you gave a very brilliant technical explanation as to why the situation is the way it is. So if that understanding is there on your part as the affected parties, what kind of message are you going to convey on the day?
Yes, thank you very much again. I think before I also dwell on that, we need to have to establish an understanding that This is also part of advocacy. But before we have arrived to this stage, we have started from somewhere. So what we did early 2023 is to engage the leadership, who are the regional directors and also the regional governors. So that's when we developed an understanding that these people are not going to do anything at the regional level, because most of them are giving this as an excuse that it's a national issue. So now by 13 October 2023, we engaged the ministry at the national level. The meeting was chaired by the deputy minister and the rest of the management members. So it's only the minister who was not there, and the ED also, but the rest were there. And the agreement was that they are going to look into the matter. So a lot of issues were tabled, and then we were assured that they are going to look in the matter. So, but by November, after a month, so there was nothing, no sign of implementing our plight or concerns. So that is when now we agreed to stage a protest on 30 November. So the message was very direct, and this is the same message we are continuing to deliver. So our protest was very successful from our side because we followed protocols and all procedures. But from the ministry's point, there's nothing that came out. They did not respond to us in any way, whether in formal writing, a call, or a meeting to be called, nothing. So the only thing that we have now as we sit is the response or headline through media follow-ups. So the minister speaks from the farm, the ED speaks from we don't know. So we try to combine this, and it's not making sense.
Yeah.
So that's why we now resolute to say we should go ahead now with the protest on 26 and also a camp, because a camp is also one way to protest, to demand that, please, we do not want to go home now. Respond us immediately, or else we sleep here for as long as we want, till a resolution is given. So maybe the content of that, we are demanding for mass recruitment. We are also demanding that the ministry should resolve the issue of teacher-learner ratio. The cabinet have given multiple directives to the ministry to fulfill teacher-learner ratio, but they have failed. We also want them to embark on building schools. Of course, the ministry have never had that idea of building schools. Still, we stood up with school projects and other mechanisms. Now they have promised to build 16 schools. So we want now to make sure that this project is effective and is on time. So not like just a mere promise. In line with that as well, maybe one of the deliberate activity they should put in place is to have 2 sessions. Some teachers teach up to 1, the others teach up to late from 1. So like how it was exercised during the COVID-19. And also other smaller issues they need to resolve, including the exercise of corruption. So because there are few posts, and then those in power are resorting now to exercise corruption. So I cannot give this one, I must give my nephew or my son to get a post. So which the ministry also drastically failed to resolve. They have tend to go to internal investigation methods, but this internal investigation does not work at all. No one was reprimanded from the administration because of that. So that is, in short, our message.
Yeah. Do you think, David, that the practicalities are there because mass recruitment must also make sense on the part of the employer? Do you have touched on it, to be fair, but do you think that it's practical? Is need-based recruitment, or just to resolve unemployment?
Yes, I think I should look at it in both contexts. Administrative-wise, is a challenge, we know, because they cannot absorb all of us. But we have also a demand outlined in that to say, at a short period of time, this is what you can do. But at a long period of time, you can also look at halting the education program or education courses with the Institute of Higher Learning. So let's say between 3 to 5 years to say, no, we are not doing education anymore.
Yeah.
So it means when perhaps you are resolving it at a short period of time to say we are employing maybe 2,000 or 3,000 a year, this other should wait so that in the long run we can also recruit them. But when you are recruiting that certain number, yet the institutions are producing, then there's no solution. It means administrative-wise, the Ministry of Education, just like the way they entered in agreement with institution of higher learning then when it was an issue with shortage of teachers, they should also be at the forefront to do the same so that institution of higher learning halt this program for a while. Now, politically, I think it's very possible because if you look at other neighboring countries like Zambia, they are doing it. So it means it's just a matter of putting in deliberate programs to solve the situation. Leaders are there to solve situations, not to maintain it, but solve it. So in this case, they might resort to say the highest number of learners in a class is 35 learners per teacher. And then if they happen to take it down to 30 to 25 for a certain period of time, that's a deliberate program. And it will really be soundful and it will resolve the matter at hand. So that's how we see it.
Yeah. Do we have any idea as to how big a problem is this? You know, how many people roughly have graduated as teachers and are sitting at home?
Yes, we took a statistic from 2015 to 2023. This includes those ones that are graduating now because they completed last year. And we are at 8,000 plus, so that are in the street currently. So that is a statistic up to November. So maybe the recent recruitment in January and a little bit in Feb, which cannot go beyond 200. So that is where we are expecting them to be, 8,000 plus. So that is the number we are having.
Absolutely. We go for a quick break and then return with David Nekaro.
Welcome to Namibia, where adventure meets tranquility. With Enjoy, you have access to a wide range of accommodations to suit every traveler's taste and budget. Experience the finest dining and hospitality Namibia has to offer. Booking your dream accommodation is just a few clicks away with Enjoy. Join thousands of happy travelers who have trusted Enjoy for their Namibian getaway. Your gateway to unforgettable Namibian adventures. Visit us today at enjoy.my.na.
Our conversation continues on the evening review. Now, David, so how long has many of these guys, including yourself, been at home? Is it very long? Are you guys impatient, or it has really been very long?
Yes, it's very long. We are counting from 2015. That's when most of the people have set home. And of course, the majority is from 2017 because this is when the metaverse started getting worse. There were several committees that came before that in different regions, but it was not national by then. They have addressed these issues with regional directors, and some of these smaller issues, especially corruption, here and there, they have touched it. But they never looked at a bigger picture as to where is this matter is coming from. So the overproduction of teachers who ascend in the market, and in the end they have to scramble for smaller teaching posts. The failure from the ministry side to implement a teacher-learner ratio, which is a key center of this issue, and all those matters. So otherwise, we are counting from 2015, 2016, 2017. And personally, I've been sitting for 3 years now, so which is very serious. When you see others, the way they are living, driving cars, having houses, it is worse, mentally, very, very worse. To be fair, some of our colleagues psychologically they are unstable. You can see them in the street and so forth. So it's a very serious matter.
Yeah. What has been your personal experience in this search? What kind of extremes, the sort of highlights of your job search so far? What are those key moments? Maybe the where you go, because, for example, people say they go to places and there are hundreds of people vying for one position, for example, driving long distances, borrowing money from relatives to attend interviews. What has been your personal experience?
Yes, that's very right. I have been in that situation as well. The issue here is the cost. So the cost in terms of printing, every month you need to print and submit. When you submit, you need to courier it or send it via some certain transport. That is very costly. In the same line, traveling to that place, especially when you know or you heard that someone took the post already, and there's no consequences to that person and the master was involved. So that is very, very bad. And now engaging now in that interview itself, you look at the questions, some of them they are asking you questions relating to law, acts and all those stuff as if you are going to be a lawyer. So that is very traumatizing. So I have been in that situation, especially at the beginning of the year when there are new graduates. So it's very tough because you will be over 200 for one teaching post. So it's really a bad situation.
Yeah. Does the issue of subject choices or subject specialization play a role in the difficulty to secure jobs? For example, do you have a situation where you say those who trained in science subjects get taken up more easily than those who did social subjects, for example, or it just really a mix with everybody?
Yeah, the situation is almost the same, but there's a slight difference in terms of the phases and also the subjects. Let's talk first on the phases. There was a curriculum passed to say, especially at lower primary, to say you need to measure in English and a certain local language. So now this one subdivided people to secure a job in different areas. Let's say, for example, you are from Ovamboland, so you need to do Oshikwanyama. So it means you are forever in there. You are going to secure a job the normal in other regions. Or maybe you are from Kavango and you did Rumanyo or Rukwangali. So it means you have to be employed there. So then it's very, very bad if you are a lot. So and sometimes schools are few who are offering those subjects. So it's a challenge. You'll be 200, you'll be 300, and you'll not go anywhere. You just need to pray that a post will come in my region one day. So that is one. Or now when it comes to phases, so subjects, yes, is also a key issue. There are subjects really, especially math and science, you see here and there. I think they are okay. They can be taken. So very faster than others. But there are those subjects you say here, it's a problem. So you can't go through, especially social science and Rukwangali in most cases. So that side now. And also in other regions, there are also typical subjects, the way you see is a serious challenge. But during our engagement, they also informed us of some languages and some science subjects, especially at the secondary level, that really have shortage of teachers, and it's our task now to mobilize others to take secondary and some few, especially Khoikhoi and few other languages. So that's why we are saying the possibility of halting that program or that education is very important. Provided that there are just few subjects that they can leave in the system to fill the gap.
Yeah. There are people listening to you right now on TV. So what is your specialization, just in case some recruiters are out there looking for?
Yeah, so I did social studies and Rukwangali, the upper primary, that's from grade 4 to 7.
Okay.
So, and that is a serious issue.
Yeah.
in our region. You can't really go far.
Yeah.
So that is what I did.
Yeah. I've seen the situation in the Kavango regions in particular, and it's ironic because you're from there also, where some unemployed teachers have resorted to creating their own schools just to, keep going. And they are now facing battles with the government, also saying you must close down those schools because government doesn't want to encourage a situation where people are unemployed. They just set up schools, especially schools that are not properly registered and stuff like that. Then we have a mushrooming of schools that are not properly registered.
Yes, thank you very much. It's not only in Kavango.
Yeah.
Of course, in Kavango West and East, we had them. And also, not to forget that here in the capital, which is Commerce, we also had those. I think it's 3 regions that started those projects at the beginning of 2023. So I think that was also one means to advocate for more teaching posts. And not only that, because parents were also involved, it was also another way to accommodate learners who were walking far distances, and they were coming, most of them, from overcrowded schools.
Yeah.
So it was a need by then. And if you listen to me, that's when this recommendation from the government to build 16 schools countrywide came from. By then, when people were complaining on the radios and other platforms, the government could not listen. But when they saw it on the ground, they started thinking that this is a really serious concern, because they were going to visit and they look at the number of learners there with their reasons attached. It's a pity. So that's when they recommended to that. But the issue of other colleagues resorting to continue with that project after a direction from the government was put in place, I think that is I have to say from our side, as a committee that's spearheading this, I think it's not a wise idea, because that's a deliberate matter. I have seen one school, that project school is still continuing, but it is very close to the school that the government have built to respond to that. So I think those are just other attitudes which are out of context, and they should not really proceed with that.
Is it the Ndama one?
Yes, Ndama.
Yeah, because that was in our paper just a week ago. That's why I remember vividly that the situation in Kavango East and West, because I remember last year also Namibian Sun ran another story where in Kavango West, where a small group of teachers also set up another school. But as we edge towards the conclusion of this conversation, David, seeing that you haven't gotten any satisfactory or answers at all from the Minister of Education, do you want to broaden? Are you looking at broadening your approach and look beyond just the Minister of Education? Because we know, for example, that Treasury avails money to all the ministries. If you knock on the ministers of finance door and say, look, minister, we also need you to step in by availing more resources so that possibly we can be absorbed by the system.
Yes, that is a very, very crucial question, and it's good that it's coming in. There were ideas and advices from individuals and organizations that perhaps we should also look at that alternative. But our position have remained that this is a unitary state, and we have one cabinet, one parliament, almost everything is one. So it means this minister sits in the same parliament with the rest of the ministers, and I believe these are things they discuss. So the minister should spearhead the lobbying of funds, spearhead every mechanism through advocacy within the cabinet and other platforms to ensure that their ministry is doing well. So that's our belief, because by going from one ministry to another, so it's like we are lost. We do not know what we want. When it was an issue of shortage of teachers, this ministry spearheaded this. They were the forefront to engage. So now there's a shortage of teaching posts and more teachers. So they should do the same activity to engage other authorities and get rid of this issue, or at least resolve it to a certain level. So that's our belief, and that's why we are pushing further with the ministry. The only time we'll get to the level of the Prime Minister or the State House is when they accept that they have failed, which we still don't believe because they just did not try. So by the time we engage, look at both sides, I believe they will do something. It's just a lack of political will, and there's a clear poor planning within. So we are not only fighting them, we are trying also to assist where we can. So we know this is a national issue, and this issue is affecting us, the young people. So it's important first to tabulate mechanisms on how we want them to resolve it before we argue with them. So, and they have never availed that platform. It's like we are making noise. It's like we are pushing them to uncomfortable corners and all those stuff, which is not the priority. So we want to focus to them so that they engage others, and then we see how we can move forward. Because really, we need to solve this issue. Mind you, Mr. Toivo, if it was in the past, they failed to resolve it. Currently, they are failing to resolve it. So what about the future? So it's a mess. So it must get an end now.
Absolutely. Final question in 30 seconds. What are your dreams and aspirations? You have gone to school, you've had a picture for your life during all your university years. Things have not worked out the way you have wanted them to do, but you are in this very difficult position. But what do you still aspire and dream for as far as your life is concerned?
Yes, first of all, within my career that I have chosen, because this is the most contributing career to the society, I would still want to continue studying. So the challenge is just finances. We tried with some of my colleagues to go for masters, but the finance is an issue. And in the same line, we also want to ensure that we at least advise the leadership, our elders in the ministry and other ministries, on how they can work hard and at least adhere to the policies which are enshrined. In the same line, we want also to ensure that at least more of the young people are engaged into participating, especially when policies are driven or consultations are done on certain policies, because this is the core of our development, not only in education, but generally in everything that affects us daily.
Absolutely. David, all the best for your platform, for your event on 26 March. But also beyond that, really all the best to you and your colleagues. I understand the situation that you are in, and I sympathize sincerely with all of you.
No, thank you, Mr.
Yeah, that's today's show with David Nekaro. He is chairperson of a group of unemployed Namibian teachers who are knocking on government's door for a solution. Thank you for watching.
Thank you.